a really nice guy, or at least I thought he was. You know, I saw a look in his eyes and I realized that he wasn't joking.
You don't really have to use the word no, just as long as you get the point across that you don't want to.
I think under no circumstances is it ever a woman's fault. Rape to me is unconsensual sex, something that you don't want to have done if a woman feels threatened in any way and feels like she has to do it to get out of a situation. My name is Talia Fournier. My mother's European and my father's Creole. When I was 16 years old and in high school, and all of my friends were dating older guys, so this was like my first boyfriend. Then one day he called me and told me to come over to his house. His parents weren't home, so he locked the doors and grabbed my shoes and my coat. I was like, all right, what do you want? He said, just lie down, it'll be a few minutes, don't worry about it, it won't be long at all. I had to give this guy what he wanted in order to save my life, because Lord knows what would have happened if I didn't.
Date rape is when a teen goes out expecting to have a good time and finds herself with sexual advances, forced into sex that she didn't want.
If you know someone and you've established a relationship, you want to know that you're going to be safe. But in reality right now, that's not always the case.
So I went ahead and I just let him do his thing, basically. And I guess I was in a state of shock afterwards. It's ridiculous to think that someone could blame you for being taken advantage of. And I think that's the worst thing that you could hear at that time, is that it's your fault, you know? I mean, I remember someone told me that, and it made me think about, you know, what I did. I mean, did I wear something sexual, extra sexual that day, or did I be extra flirtatious? No, it was nothing that I did. There's nothing I could have done, you know? I mean, under no circumstances is it ever a woman's fault. It took a long time for me to come to terms with the fact that, you know, it wasn't my fault and that I did the best thing I could at that time, being in the situation that I was in.
I think it has to do more with gender roles, because a lot of males are brought up to think that males are more dominant than what females are. So when the male wants what he wants, the female's automatically supposed to give.
I think that they should have more classes in schools about it, for men and for women, so this kind of stuff doesn't happen. I think that as a society, we should put more pressure on young men so they know that it's out there, and that if your friends or your best friends is talking about it and flaunting it, like something he did last night, that it's not cool, and you need to tell him that. And we can't allow this. We can't allow our sons and our daughters to go through this in life.
Teens are just beginning to explore their sexuality, and to have something like that begin your life, your sexual life, often has repercussions that will last throughout a lifetime.
I tend to think that a lot of it gets back to her owning her own sexuality, and if she says no, then that's no.
I don't think they necessarily have to say no. They can just say, you know, not tonight. Even little words like that, like maybe later, or even with just silence or something, it can mean, you know, they're saying no, not now, you know, or never. But you don't really have to use the word no, just as long as you get the point across that you don't want to. It's considered rape once they go further from there.
I definitely think that there comes a point where a woman needs to take responsibility and remain in control of a situation. But I also think that trust issues come into play, and a first date is a lot different than a 10th date.
To the young woman who unfortunately has just gotten raped, I'd say that first and foremost, to get to a rape crisis center, if you have a teacher or a friend or a family member, to have them come with you, because it's a hard thing to do. They're going to ask a lot of questions that you might not want to answer, but to have someone supportive there with you. And I know it might be embarrassing at first to tell your story to someone, but know that it helps a lot once you start talking about it to get it out.
There needs to be more communication with teens about these things. Sometimes it's not going to be your parents. Generally, teens don't want to talk to their parents about these things.
I think communication is the most important thing in a relationship, and that's one thing that we didn't have was communication. Well, I went through therapy after the incident. I talked to other women who've been through the same thing. I've come a long way in 3 years, I think. It took a while for me to trust guys again. And now I found someone that, you know, I can really trust, and he trusts me too. But it took a long time. I mean, luckily I had the support of all my friends. They were there to help me, and to realize that it really wasn't my fault. I think that's the hardest thing. It takes a while, but I can talk about it now, and I just hope to help other young women, and so they can know, you know, that it's not their fault either, and they need to go on with their lives. Why should we have to worry about the people we're dating, you know? I mean, people we're supposed to be able to trust.